He was revered as the strongest sacred god in history, even surpassing the 12 sacred god constellations. He was the Ophiuchus constellation. Just as Li Jian reached out to touch the emerald-scaled giant serpent, a mysterious and ethereal voice echoed in his ears. "You have become the master of Ophiuchus." Li Zhong was actually one of the 13 human saints. Unlike the other 12 saints, he was the only saint who had never received the sacred god's blessing, yet he possessed power far exceeding the 12 saints. Only because numerous disaster misfortunes suddenly appeared in the world. The sacred gods bestowed their power upon humans, attempting to help humans eliminate the disaster misfortunes on the planet. However, the 12 saints who received the power each harbored their own ulterior motives. To eliminate the core of the disaster misfortunes, the Red Eye, they came to the Demon Tower where disaster misfortunes gathered. The terrifying pressure emanating from the Red Eye made everyone tremble in fear. Accompanied by an angry roar from the Red Eye, the entire Demon Tower began to shake. Even the ground ahead started to crack. Upon seeing the scorching magma pit that suddenly appeared beneath their feet, everyone fled in terror without looking back. But Li Jian was already prepared to fight to the death when he successfully slayed the ultimate disaster misfortune, the Red Eye. A blade directly pierced through his chest from behind, before he could see clearly who had ambushed him. He was kicked into the abyss. He never expected those cowardly fugitives would return to ambush him. But because of this, he accidentally discovered that the Red Eye's true form was hidden beneath the abyss, and it was continuously creating even more terrifying disaster misfortune. Intense hatred supported Li Jian as he slowly got up. He never surrendered to fate. Before killing those who betrayed him, he absolutely couldn't fall here. Meanwhile, in the outside world, the 12 saints became great heroes who saved the world. They even held a press conference for Li Jian's sacrifice. But only they knew the truth of what happened. Until 20 years later, Li Jian finally crushed the last disaster misfortune in the Demon Tower. Afterwards, the entire tower began to rumble with thunderous sounds. At the same time, outside the tower, 2 humans were surrounded by a pack of wolf disaster misfortunes. The desperate boy fell to his knees. He said, if Master Li Jian had come out of the Demon Tower back then, the world wouldn't be like this now. However, the Demon Tower ahead suddenly began to shake violently, then directly exploded. After the dust settled, only a huge crater remained on the ground. But mysteriously, a figure appeared in the explosion's crater. That person's body emanated dark green lightning. "Dare to stab me from behind and ambush me, you little bastards. You're all dead." Then, Li Jian appeared directly in front of the two. Under their shocked and fearful gaze, in just 2 or 3 moves, he cleared out all the surrounding disaster misfortunes. Seeing this, the two could hardly believe their eyes. Even high-level awakened ones struggled to deal with such disaster misfortunes. But for this person, it seemed as simple as crushing ants. Suddenly, the 3 felt the sky instantly darken. Looking up, they saw a massive wolf disaster misfortune staring at Li Jian. As crackling sounds came from the magic wolf's mouth, an extremely exaggerated beam of light shot directly from its mouth. An attack of such magnitude swept through the entire city. In an instant, half the city was turned to dust. However, when the dust settled, Li Jian stood there at the forefront completely unharmed. He revealed a playful smile, then leaped high into the air, shouting, "You, go to hell." The 2 people beside him were so frightened they froze. In their eyes, the current Li Jian was an even more terrifying existence than the disaster misfortunes. Turning around, Li Jian chuckled and said, "Let's go eat, and buy me some clothes while we're at it." Hearing this, the 2 stood stunned in place. A moment later, they arrived at a restaurant. In the blink of an eye, Li Jian ate 60,000 yuan worth of food. He also said, "I know you don't have much money, so I've been restraining myself." After eating and drinking his fill, Li Jian looked puzzledly at the young man. He said, "You look like an ordinary person, but I sense magic power from you." The other explained, "This is the grace bestowed by the sacred god, allowing me to awaken as a saint." "Aren't you the same? What garbage sacred god, why should I serve them?" Just then, he suddenly noticed his reflection in the spoon. Li Jian's heart skipped a beat as he thought, "Holy crap, who is this handsome guy?" He suddenly stood up and asked, "Where's a mirror?" Then he quickly rushed to the mirror. Li Jian discovered that the horrible scars on his face had completely disappeared. Even his severed arm had miraculously regenerated. and in his palm appeared a mark. Before he could react, that mark gradually materialized into a physical form, emitting a faint green light. Then, an unbearably piercing pain shot through his arm. The next second, his consciousness was pulled into a vast and boundless space. Before him appeared an immensely huge emerald-scaled giant serpent. When he came before the giant serpent, a mysterious and ethereal voice echoed in his ears. "You have experienced death, completed an impossible task. You have become the master of Ophiuchus, gaining super regeneration ability." In disbelief, he reached out to touch the giant serpent before him. The moment he made contact, the emerald-scale giant serpent emitted a dazzling bright light. Before he could react, Lijan's consciousness returned to reality. Seeing the two's dumbfounded expressions, he realized that besides himself, others couldn't see that giant serpent. Although he wasn't clear what exactly Ophiuchus was, he didn't sense any sacred. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for the next part. Let's crush our 100 like goal. Your support keeps this going. If you want the next part, type next part in the comments.